Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneur Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham, and man, we going old school tonight, this evening, today. Brother Hank, Grandmaster Hank, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
Nothing at all.
How you doing, brother?
I am doing well. So listen, when I started the Entrepreneur Enclave, quiet as kept, I said to some folks, my inner circle, who should I interview? They said, man, you got to get Grand Hank. I said, okay, I'm going to reach out to him. So here you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the building.
Absolutely. So before we get started, man, we just going to jump to the present day, and we want to say congratulations to you and your daughter. Well, not to you, but to your daughter. She is going to be another Pitt Panther.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So how did that process come about? Was she always interested in going to Pitt, or was that based on your guidance?
That was based on my guidance and exposure to Pitt. What happened was this girl has attached her brain to my brain.
Awesome.
Which means she had super brain power.
Oh.
So she has been a high achiever.
Yes.
And she was a little nervous about being accepted into different schools and everything.
Okay.
And this young lady has taken advanced placement, and she's taken honors class all the way through high school.
Yes.
And I told her that you let that sink in for a minute.
Yes.
Now, first of all, I didn't advise her to do it.
Okay.
She did it on her own.
Okay.
So right there, it shows that underneath her DNA,
yes,
wrapped in it, is the drive to achieve.
Yes.
And when you think of honors and AP classes, that is pretty much the highest achievement that you can achieve in high school.
Absolutely.
The school has nothing to offer you once you take those classes.
Yes.
And she went to a very good high school, and she busted out. So I told her, you are going to be able to write your own ticket.
Yes.
Because you're the kind of student that colleges want.
Absolutely.
They want high achievers. They don't want people who are lagging and barely got out of high school.
Yes.
You're walking out of high school with all the honors.
Yes.
You can go anywhere you want.
Yes.
Now, what got her to move toward the direction of Pitt was about 3 years ago, before the pandemic.
Yes.
I said, you know what? You need to start seeing what your dad has done and where he's been.
Yes.
So we did a whole road trip, family up to Pitt, and we spent the weekend up there.
Okay.
And I took her to the cathedral, took her to the library, took her to the chemistry building, took her to the towers, took her originals, took her everywhere I went.
Yes.
And showed her the life that she could have if she decided to go there.
Okay.
So we wind up catching a Pitt basketball game.
Okay.
So she got a chance to go and sit in the arena and, be a part of what potentially she could do.
Yes.
So now fast forward now, I've then had to sit down with her and help her understand one thing we don't have in our family is a legacy, meaning having multiple people go to the same college and university.
Yes.
Most of us are first generation. So once we get through the next person, we say, hey, just go where you want. Just go college. Go somewhere. No. If the path has already been paved for you,
yes,
all you got to do is step in it. And now you can take advantage of all of the things that are put in place for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You've been born on third base.
Yes.
So all you got to do is take a single and come on home.
Absolutely. Now, personal question: Can she DJ like her father?
Well, she can do a little bit.
Okay.
But she's young, so she loves music.
Awesome.
And I told her, I said, you could be DJing for your high school.
Yes.
You could be making big money instead of draining my pocket. You could be DJing, and you got your father who's a big promoter, and I can promote you and do everything. And we tried it a couple times and was successful. She wasn't DJing, but she promoted a couple parties.
Okay.
They went over really well, and then the COVID came.
Okay.
So, she has it in her. It's in her DNA.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
All right. So we just want to once again say welcome to the Pitt family. Congratulations. So now we're gonna get started where who is Grandmaster Hank and how was his humble beginning? So take me back to Philadelphia, man. How did you get started, man? Yes. Take me back.
Well, in Philly,
yes.
So we start out in Philly in a place called the Mill Creek Housing Project.
Yes.
So I'm one of 8 kids.
Okay.
So my mother has 4 boys, 4 girls.
Yes.
So we grew up in an environment where even though we were poor, we didn't know we were poor.
Very true. Yes.
And we had so much love and connection and community. It was unbelievable.
Yes.
I mean, we just grew as a family, and my mother did a tremendous job.
Yes.
Raising us.
Yes.
So I had an older brother who, around in the 70s, when he used to have a band, and then DJing was coming along. Like,
okay,
it was coming along in the 70s.
Okay,
and 75, 76, when it was coming along, and he bought some turntables.
Okay,
and during that time, it wasn't any scratch mixing or anything.
Yes,
it was just putting songs on. The song go off, put another one on.
Yes, and
people having a good time that way.
Yeah,
and then someone decided to put a mixer in between, and then Grandmaster Flash, or some people historically began to start scratch mixing.
Yes. And
I was intrigued by it. And so my brother wouldn't let me scratch on his turntables. He thought I was tearing the records off. And we would do it. So, and me and another brother of mine, his name's Spark.
Yes.
And we were working together.
Yes.
And we wind up putting our money together to buy our first set of turntables.
Wow.
My brother used to DJ too.
Okay.
But I took it to just a whole nother level. I would practice. You play football.
Yes.
So I practiced on the turntables like you practiced on the field playing football.
Wow.
And that was it. And I just became obsessed with being the best.
Awesome.
And I became the best.
Yes.
But as I was becoming the best and
yes.
moving along,
yes,
there are a couple of disadvantages of living in the project.
Yes.
Number one, the people that surround the projects from other neighborhoods
yes.
are not coming to the project.
Yes.
So your exposure is not there.
Yes.
If I would have lived in another neighborhood, my exposure would have probably been through the roof.
Yes.
But because living in the projects, it was pretty much a closed environment.
Yes.
We went out to other neighborhoods.
Got you.
But other neighborhoods didn't come down into our neighborhood.
Got you.
So that exposure wasn't there. But within that ecosystem
yes.
of the projects that I lived in, and there was another project called West Park Project. And
yes.
that project is where Arnold Payne is from.
Yeah, yeah.
So me and Arnold went to school together.
Okay.
Me and Arnold went to elementary. He's probably my oldest high school or oldest elementary friend or educational friend.
Yes.
So we went to school to the same school.
Okay.
And so I'll get to him, but if we went to the same school.
Okay.
But I would go to his projects and all the projects around it, DJing and just having a good time.
Okay.
And so back then you had to have a cool name. So it was Grandmaster Flash, and we equated Grandmaster Flash as being like the best.
Yes.
So if you are a Grandmaster,
yes,
you are one of the best.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's where Grandmaster Hank came from. So that boy was bad. And so
branding at an early age. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And so we branded it, and I had a whole crew of people.
Yes.
But what was happening was, while I'm doing the DJ thing, I'm working with my dad.
Yes.
And I'm educationally, I'm moving along. I'm in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Now I'm in the 12th grade.
Yes.
And I got to make a decision. I got to either, and I was very good at baseball.
Okay.
So I was, at a juncture where I was like, all right, I got into college.
Yes.
I got into all these colleges.
Yes.
Because Arnold and I, we went to an academic school. Like, we were project kids.
Yes.
That had been identified that academically we were top performers.
Awesome. Yes.
So they said, we're going to send you guys out of your neighborhood to a mentally gifted school.
Yes.
And so we went from the neighborhood school to a mentally gifted school.
Yes.
And then on from there, we went to like some of the best high schools.
Okay.
And then he and I didn't even know we were going to fit together.
Okay.
We just happened to see each other when we had that orientation.
Okay.
Like, oh, what you doing up here? And I'm like, what the hell you doing up here? and several other people that I went to high school with ended up at Pitt, but we didn't know, we didn't keep in touch like that.
Got you.
So that's where the Grand Hank came from. Now, when I started doing work up at Pitt,
yes,
there was a capper up at Pitt. His name was Tim.
Yes.
And Tim the capper identified me. I brought my turntables up there. My mother wouldn't let me bring all my equipment up.
Yes.
She said, I want you to go up there and get your education. I said, Mom, I'm going to get that.
Yes.
She said, no, I negotiated with her to just take my turntables up in a little small speaker for my room.
Yes.
So I would be DJing in my room. And then a guy named Brian Saunders, we call him Broski.
Okay.
And Broski lived down the hall from me.
Okay.
So Broski would hear me in my room ripping it up and doing what I do. And he's like, yo, I'm from New York.
Yes, sir.
He said, and I rap.
Okay.
And that's how that duo started. We lived in the same house.
Wow.
He would stay in my room and we would just rap and write songs and I would be DJing and cutting. And then Tim, he said, you know what, man? I like you. You from Philly. He said, I'm with the Kappas. And he said, I want to give you a shot. He said, but I'm a host a battle of the DJs.
Okay.
And they had it at Forbes Quadrangle.
Yeah, I remember.
And he said, we got the Kappas don't have a DJ.
Yes.
And they said, well, we got Donovan the Q is with the Q's.
Yes.
And Ice was with the Sigmas.
Okay.
He said, we're going to battle, all y'all going to battle in the quad. And
yes.
Whoever wins that battle is going to get all of the Kappa party.
Wow.
So that's how all that went down.
Wow. Now let me stop you for a second because I got, this is the Entrepreneur Enclave, so I've got to ask this question. When you were in the projects and you were DJing and you were getting paid to DJ, did you know that you were an entrepreneur then?
Yeah.
Oh, you knew that?
Yeah, I already knew I was an entrepreneur.
And you knew and you knew what that word entrepreneurship meant.
Well, I didn't know what it meant, but I knew I was making money.
Gotcha.
So we didn't care about entrepreneurship back then. That was a word for the rich folk.
Gotcha.
Making money and hustling was what we knew.
Gotcha. And that's what you called it. Okay, gotcha. All right. So
our entrepreneurship was hustling.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So now you're doing the battle of the DJs. All right, take it from there. I'm sorry.
So we had all these freshmen come.
Yes.
Everybody was packed in that quadrangle, and I just lit the place up.
Yes, sir.
And after that, they was like, "Look, you're gonna be our DJ."
Yes.
And that started my career. That's why I always give credit to Tim the Kappa.
Yes.
He was the guy that initiated the Grand Hank takeover at Pitt.
Wow, the Grand Hank experience. That's all right. Awesome.
Yes, it was. And,
yes.
and once he believed in me,
yes,
he said, "I'm gonna let you do our parties." And
wow.
we started to go. I mean, we wasn't getting paid no big money.
Yeah.
Shit, it was money.
Yeah.
You know, and we negotiating, back and forth, and dollar parties, and it just took off.
Yeah.
It took off.
Wow.
And then the next semester, I told my mom, I said, "I need to break my equipment. I'm losing money." And so my grades reflected, my grades were pretty good. So she was like, okay. And that's when we bought the truck up.
Wow.
And we bought the heavy artillery up. And it was it from there.
Now, let me,
and we rocked everybody.
Let me stop you one more time. So now you're at Pitt. What was your major, and why did you go to Pitt for engineering, for engineering? Why did you come to Pitt?
I went to Pitt to get away from the project.
Gotcha.
I didn't have the agenda that most people had going up there.
Got you.
So
you was just looking for a way out.
Say it again?
You was just looking for a way out.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So the way I went to Pitt, and this is crazy. Don't try this at home, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Don't let your kids do this. There was a guy who was 1 year ahead of me in high school.
Yes.
And he was dating a girl who was in my class.
Yes.
So this guy graduates, and he was cool with me.
Yes.
So he graduates, and he winds up going to Pitt.
Wow. Okay.
And so he would come back when, semester's over, and he would be outside the school picking up his girlfriend, who was my friend, too.
Yes. And
one time, her and I were just walking out to school, and he was out there, and he had a Pitt shirt on.
Yes.
And I was like, "What's that?" He said, "Yo, it's awesome. College is all that you got to go."
Yes.
Now, I was in a magnet program, so I was already tracked to go to a college.
Yes.
It wasn't on my radar.
Gotcha.
And so he was like, "You got to come, man." He said, "I'm telling you, man, it's live up here." He just sold me on it.
Yes.
And I was like, okay. So I wound up getting that application and some other applications and never saw the campus. Okay. Never knew what Pitt was about except from his word. So I went to Pitt without ever seeing the campus.
Wow.
When I got accepted, I never saw the campus.
Wow.
I got accepted at Pitt. I got accepted to Morehouse.
Yes.
I got accepted to Lincoln University.
Yes.
And some other schools. And Pitt was just like the right fit in terms of distance.
Gotcha. Yes.
Even though back then we didn't have any means of measuring the distance of how long it would take to get home, and we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know that was 300 miles away. We just knew it was Pitt. So this is how much information I had.
Gotcha.
And this is why I'm telling people, don't try this at home. Yeah. I'm a special guy. So fast forward, I get to Pitt, and this is a true story. My mother and brother and a friend drove me up to Pitt. I had one of those army bags with all my clothes in it.
Yes.
And that was it. Once I checked in, my mother never came back till I graduated. And
wow.
So academically, when you start up there, okay, you got to figure out your way through.
Yes.
There was no push to be in anything at all.
Wow.
No career driven, none of that.
Okay.
I could, in my mind, Kev, anything I picked, I could do it.
Okay.
I had no fear of anything.
Okay.
And when I got up there, everybody I talked to was scared of chemistry. That was one of the main courses you had to take. You had to take a science.
Yes.
And all the guys were just, the girls, oh, is it chemistry is this, and chemistry is this, that. And I just never had that fear. I said, oh, if somebody can do it, it can be done. If other people can do it, it can be done.
Yes.
So the way I got into chemistry was, I knew I wanted to do something in science.
Yes.
And I was either going to be a mathematician,
yes,
a computer scientist,
yes,
electrical engineer, or a chemist. Okay. One of those majors. So yes. I put those four majors in a hat.
Yes.
and pulled out chemistry.
Wow.
And that's how we began the process of becoming a chemist.
Okay.
So it was not a cakewalk. So here's what people need to know.
Yes.
And as you learn this, you're going to learn more about me.
Yes.
So I decided to go the chemistry route.
Yes.
When I go to my first chemistry class,
yes,
here's the experience at Pitt that everybody needs to know. This is going to go in my book too.
Yes.
When I got into the classroom, I actually arrived at the chemistry building, which is up the hill.
Yes.
It's a nice little walk from where I live.
Yes.
And when I opened the door to my first classroom,
yes,
it was 350 people in the room.
Wow.
I was the only black guy.
What?
All right, Kev, let me step a little bit further.
Yeah.
When I walked into the classroom, the professor stopped me at the door.
Yes.
And checked my roster because he couldn't believe that I was actually in his class.
Yes.
So that's what you had to face as an 18-year-old coming from the project.
Yes.
This guy had no idea
yes.
of the capacity I have,
yes.
but judged me based on the color of my skin.
Wow.
And so that started my journey
okay.
into to understanding that this world is not fair.
Yes.
And the deck is stacked against you.
Yes.
And so moving the dial along,
yes,
my professor, says what he says.
Yes.
Then I begin to take chemistry.
Yes.
So I take my first chemistry test. I failed it.
Okay.
All right. So I went back and started, figuring out what I did wrong.
Yes.
Maybe I did this. So, okay, I'm going back again. The next chemistry test came. I failed it again.
Yes.
And normally that's when you quit. And
yes.
that's the difference between people who push through and people who have faith and people who have vision
yes.
and the people who they just feel it's not a fit for them because they didn't do well.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know it at the time psychologically that it was marketed to me in a way that I wasn't going to pass that class.
Got you.
And
okay.
my professor, when I would try to get him to give me tutoring and things, he was very cold toward me.
Yes.
Well, I'm busy, and when I would come, what do you want? It wasn't what people think.
Yes.
And these are things that nobody knew, but I was at war.
Wow.
And I said, well, let's go to war.
Okay.
So I literally stopped going to some of the chemistry lectures.
Yes.
And I started studying chemistry on my own. And I started adding, my own flair to it.
Yes.
Because, they give you the syllabus.
Yes.
And then the third test, I passed with a C.
Okay.
And then I knew I could learn chemistry from that point on.
Wow.
Once I got a C, I knew, and most of the people in the class got a C.
Yes.
And then I said, okay. It was just my studying.
Yes.
Remember, chemistry is like learning a new language.
Yes. Okay.
And if you approach it that way,
yes,
there were vocabulary words, there was terminology that I just didn't understand.
Yes.
So I had to kind of study what he was teaching.
Yes.
At the same time, I had to study the vocabulary.
Yes.
And so as I began to study the vocabulary, I began to understand what he was saying in his language.
Yes.
Because he's speaking the language of chemistry. I'm speaking a language from the project.
Yeah.
So, so we are in two different worlds. So I had to come into his world.
Yes.
Meaning I had to have a vocabulary list
yes.
of all of the words that were important that I was hearing him say and that were written in the text.
Yes.
And when I started doing that, the world just turned.
Wow.
It just turned, and I began to understand chemistry.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, I got this.
Gotcha.
And again, here's another thing that people don't know. When you're taking chemistry or a major, you have to go and do your labs.
Yes.
Right? Which are taught primarily by the TAs.
Yes.
Now, picture yourself, this black kid. You're in this class with all these white folks.
Yes.
And not one of them, because in labs, you have to have a lab partner.
Yes.
when you're in a lab with all these white folks and then they don't want to work with you. You don't have a lab partner. Now, how the hell are you going to feel?
Wow.
Right? And so these are things that you got to understand happen. I understand at a much higher level than a lot of people I know why people don't go into the science.
Yes.
And why, when they do go, they don't stay.
Yes.
See, I've been there. I know what drives people away.
Got you.
The professor can drive you away.
Yes.
If you let him. But if you have a different mindset that this professor is a tool and I'm going to use him to get what I want.
Yes.
I'm not going to let him use me and drive me out because he don't like seeing this guy come in with his cool cap and leather coat.
Yeah.
Got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So you're going to fight for your knowledge.
Yes.
See, and that once you understand that we're at war. So this college thing is not a game.
Yes.
I'm up here to get mine. I can't, when I'm going to go back to if I don't finish this?
Yes.
I can't.
Gotcha.
So I got to finish this.
Yes.
And that's what I did.
Wow.
I applied myself. Now, mind you, a lot of people up there had no idea that I was even studying chemistry.
Got you.
They thought I was a party animal. And I remember one of the guys was a Sigma.
Yes.
I came into the library one time with my book bag, and there was a group of Sigmas sitting at the table.
Yes.
And the guy said, "Man, what you doing in here?" I said, "What you mean?" He's like, "Man, I know what's your major? I know you ain't taking nothing hard." There was a group of them at the table, so they all laughed. And I said, "I'm taking chemistry," and they just would laugh even hard. "Chemistry, man, get out of here! You ain't taking no chemistry." I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, show me what's in your book bag." So I pulled this big fat chemistry book out.
Yeah.
And put it on the table, and everybody in the room went quiet.
Wow.
So the guy said, he said, "Man, you really smart, huh?" He said, "Can you help me with my chemistry?" And that was it. And that was it. And they spread it all over the yard because I didn't tell nobody what I was studying.
Wow.
But my study game was unbelievable, and anybody can vouch for it. Man, I used to study from 11 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Wow.
I would go up to skate. Now, mind you, I would be at a party. I would do a party at the student union.
Yeah.
And Tyraine and all of them would tell you, I would say, "Look, when we pack this up, I'm going up to skate."
Okay.
And we would lock that equipment down, and boom, we up there all night. And I come down to the Reds and sneak in and have breakfast.
Yeah.
And then go home and go to sleep.
Wow.
I was driven.
Wow.
24 hours. I worked around the clock. That's why you could see me at those parties. I could do those parties and still be a high achiever because I never slept.
Wow.
See, I was always up. When everybody was asleep, I was up.
Yeah.
Remember they used to have no-dos and all that? I used to pop a few of them, and we walk up and down, eat snacks and all that. But I understood that time is the only constraint that we all got.
Wow.
And if I want to hang out and party with the guys, then I got to make that time up somewhere.
Wow.
And that's what I did. That was the secret to my success up at Pitt.
And this is your freshman year?
This was all throughout my career.
Wow.
All throughout Pitt, I had the same formula.
Okay.
You know, once I started DJing, I would always make that time up.
Yeah.
That time got to be made up. That 6 or 7 hours I got playing and messing around.
Yeah.
I got to put that somewhere to keep the learning going.
Yeah.
You know, I was always at it. I knew what I was up there to do.
Now, did you ever get that partner, that chemistry partner?
No.
Wow. So you had to do projects on your own. Wow.
Yeah, I was my own partner. You know, and then once I started understanding it, then the white folks wanted to talk. "Oh, how well did you do?" You know, know how when I would ask them for questions and stuff, they would say they guessed.
Yeah.
"Oh, damn, how you get an A, man? I just guessed. Oh, I was lucky." That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You had an inside track. See, and then once I got to their level of understanding, then they would come to me and I would say the same thing. "Oh, I guess. I just played. I would give them shit."
Yeah.
And that's real talk.
Yeah. I appreciate the real talk, though, brother.
You know, and that's how it worked. I wouldn't give him nothing.
Yes.
And then I became a top performer and I wasn't even going to class a lot.
Wow.
I was studying the book.
Yes.
And understanding the syllabus, and I didn't need that teacher to tell me that.
Yes.
I never forget one time I was taking a physics class. Physics, the second level of physics in the summer. Me and a friend of mine, Tyraine.
Yeah.
We had this old white guy.
Yes.
And it was a class full of people in the summer.
Yes.
And this guy was an old racist teacher.
Yes.
And we didn't know race back then.
Yeah.
We didn't know what he was doing. That guy was so racist, we couldn't believe it. And I kept asking him questions because some of the information he was saying was misleading.
Yes.
So I was like checking him, like, I don't understand that. Can you repeat that? And the teacher just lashed out at me.
Yeah.
He just went crazy on me. And everybody in the class started laughing. I was the only one in there not laughing. And I checked him.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, I am here in the summer to learn.
Yes.
And the way you're teaching it is not coming across to me. And that's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yes.
He shut up. And he went on to teaching. And I wound up getting a B in that class.
Wow.
A B plus, by the way. I fought for my education, man. They didn't give it to me.
And remember now, the listeners need to know that in the summer, the classes are accelerated. So they're moving a whole lot faster.
Accelerate. Hey,
wow.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, y'all really want to hear a story? There's another guy.
Yeah.
Look, I took organic chemistry in 4 weeks. I took part 1 in 4 weeks and part 2 in 4 weeks. I took organic chemistry in 8 weeks over the summer.
Wow.
And knocked it out the park.
Yes, sir.
Now, I was never the same after that.
Got you.
My mind was, I became a scientist that summer. Because I man, I was never the same.
Yeah.
But my mind, it proved to me,
yes,
if they could put that class together for 4 weeks,
yes,
my mind could do it.
Wow.
And I did it.
Wow.
So I did. I pulled Arnold along.
Wow.
I told Arnold. Arnold had left the summer, and he was going through what I said, man, you can't leave.
Yes.
You can't quit.
Yes.
I'll help you, because he wasn't understanding. You can't.
Yes.
I'll help you. This is what we do.
Yes.
We help each other.
Yes.
And I helped him through organic chemistry.
Okay. Wow.
See, anybody near me, anybody that was in my crew,
yes,
had to accelerate.
Wow.
You couldn't be with me if you wasn't doing well.
Wow.
And the guys that didn't do well flunked out, or they left, or they did. But the guys that stayed, everybody went up to do what they had to do.
And you know, we just want to take a break for a second. I am so amazed, because here we are some 35 years later. I am just now understanding the true person of who you are. Because I just thought you were the DJ. I had no idea that you were going through and overcoming these challenges. So thank you, brother, for standing strong, man. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And that's a segue right into what I do.
Yeah.
I do what I do because of what I went through.
Yes. Yes.
When I saw how they package science,
yes,
and how they drive us out of it,
yes,
they make it so uncomfortable. They make it so unfriendly,
yes,
that you like, I'm not up here for this. Let me take something over here. I'm out of here. And
yes,
they leave the science. When I first went to Pitt, the majority of the people I would come in contact with of African-American color,
yes,
was all going up there to be scientists, engineers, doctors, all that.
yes.
But when we got to taking those classes,
yes,
and the way they were treating us, and the
yes,
people don't go on record, but if you ask them when they listen to this podcast,
yes, sir,
they're going, in their minds, they're going to be calling you, Kev, you know what? That brother is on point.
yes.
He was telling the truth. That's why they drove him out.
Wow.
It wasn't because we didn't have the mental capacity, because most of the people I knew came from the best high schools in Philadelphia,
yes,
Central, Girls High, Masterman. They had the brain power.
Yes.
But it was the way they packaged the learning and the teaching,
wow,
that made them take other careers.
Wow.
You get to the essence of it. That's why they left.
Got you. So now you graduate. What's your first job, or you still think that entrepreneurship is for you? So what's your first job?
Well, see, the secret of this formula is I came from an entrepreneurial family.
Yes.
My dad my dad was a businessman.
Yes.
I saw my dad. My dad used to be a janitor.
Yes.
He owned a janitorial company.
Got you.
And he built that company into a $6 million a year business.
Wow.
I seen it done.
Yes.
And this was back when I was first going to college, so that's back in the 80s.
Yes.
I seen it done.
Okay.
So, but because my father was a great man and he did what he had to do, he was out there. So he was around when he could be around.
Yes.
Most of the time he was gone.
Yes.
But the knowledge he would always drop on us was you could do it.
Yes.
You could do it. You could do it. So when I graduated, my first job was with Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
So I hit the home run coming out the gate.
Okay.
Now, here's the story of that.
Yes.
Because people got to understand this. Y'all go and read my book, really. Seriously. Now, so I get this job at Johnson & Johnson.
Yes.
And I'm 22. I guess I'm 22.
Yes.
So I get hired as a research associate with Johnson & Johnson. And my first job was setting up and running a division of Johnson & Johnson, of a $1 billion company at 22.
Wow.
I set up at 22, 23. I had my own lab and I had my own office within the lab. I was on the top floor of a 3-story building that overlooked like 100 acres of just land.
Wow.
The shit was unbelievable.
Wow.
And that was my first, I hit it out the park.
Wow.
And I had the greatest time at Johnson & Johnson. And I was in charge. And I was a young boy.
Yes.
And so moving along, what motivated me was not money.
Yes.
What motivated me was the prayer that I had sent up
yes.
years ago when I was in the projects. I
yes.
said, Lord, if you allow me to get out of these projects
yes.
and become something, I would dedicate my life to helping others.
Yes.
And that was the statement right there.
Okay.
So here we are, fast forward. I done finished Pitt.
Yes.
I'm at Johnson & Johnson.
Yes.
I got the job, the dream job.
Yes.
I got my feet up on the desk.
Yes.
And then a bolt of lightning come down and just say, remember what you said you're going to do. And that's all it said. Remember what you said you're going to do.
Okay.
And then I had to figure out what is it that I can do to give back.
Yes.
Now, so I have my music background,
yes.
right? I was a DJ.
Yes.
And I knew how to communicate.
Yes.
Most DJs know how to communicate. So what happened was, as being a scientist, I started reaching out to different community organizations, and
yes.
I would, try to help the kids along. And I would bring people from the projects out to Johnson & Johnson to show them my lab.
Yes.
To show them what could be done. Now, me and you were playing in the sandbox together, and now this is what happens when you use education.
Yes.
So I'd bring people in, give them little tours and things. And then a guy from the Franklin Institute, he worked at the Franklin Institute
yes.
in Philly, which is the science museum.
Yes.
He said, I would like you to come down. We're setting up this visiting scientist program, and I would like you to come down and talk to the kids.
Okay.
And I told him, without even thinking twice, I said, how many black kids you going to have here?
Wow.
And he paused. And he was like, well, we don't really, we using the suburban. No, listen, you asking me, and I'm telling you, I'm not coming down there unless you got some black kids out there.
Yes.
And then he said, well, do you know any schools? I said, I got a whole list of schools. And so I gave him the schools.
Yes.
They reached out to those schools, and
yes.
then I went down.
Wow.
And so I'm down there in this big auditorium just
yes.
talking. I'm up at the podium talking, telling kids about this. All the kids in the auditorium leaning back in their seats.
Yes.
So as a DJ, the crowd is not connecting with what you're saying.
Absolutely. They
leaning back and, chitter-chatting on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
And so here's what I did. It just popped in my head. I just started rapping.
What?
I kicked a rap. I think it was something by Snoop Dogg, and everybody just leaned forward.
Yes, sir.
Everybody leaned into it,
yes.
and they started rapping, and the whole place was rapping this song.
Yeah.
And I stopped rapping, and they kept rapping.
Okay.
And that was the epiphany right there. I
wow.
said, we can use rap music to teach science.
Yes.
We can use rap to teach anything because this is what the kids like.
Yes.
So we can use what they like and love to educate them. And that was the time doing gangster rap. So that's when everybody was calling them, hoes and bitches and all this.
Yeah.
That was that time.
Yeah.
And I said, we could counter that.
Yes.
Now, I didn't rap. So I tried to get some other people to rap.
Okay.
And I said, well, some of my guys, they didn't want to rap.
Okay.
They said, I'm done with it. We cool. And then I said, okay, I wrote a rap song. And I just wrote a rap. My first rap song was called Our Generation.
Okay.
And I just I wrote it. And then I wound up finding a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy. He said, look, I know a studio. This guy's good. Go talk to him. And I went in the studio and produced it and laid the tracks down and made my little demo tape.
Okay.
And I circulated it to my friends.
Yeah.
And 90% of my friends said, that's not me.
Okay.
That's not you on there.
Gotcha.
You can't rap like that. Yeah, the denial part. You got to remember, success runs through cycles, man.
Yeah.
You know it as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
They wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
Even though they were hearing me on tape, they wouldn't believe that I could rap like that.
Yes.
And I told them I could always rap. I just never did.
Yeah.
I had rappers.
Yeah.
I had Reggie and Broski and Cooley B and Kersey and all Ice and all them guys rap. Well, I need to rap. I was a DJ.
Yeah.
But when it came to teaching, that's when I took it. And so I wrote a few more songs.
Okay.
And put together this little EP and start circulating it.
Wow.
And it started getting traction. And so I wound up doing a talent show, a talent night.
Okay.
And it was funny, man, because I invited all my friends from Johnson & Johnson, my chemists and all. They came to this place in North Philly, in the middle of North Philly.
Yeah.
And I did my rap in front of everybody.
Okay.
And when I got through rapping, I wrote a song called Education.
Yes.
And it talked about the parents, the educators, and the environment and the roles they played in education.
Yes.
I'm going to put all this stuff out, too, on music one day. It's all done.
Yeah.
But when I finished rapping that song, now remember, I'm in the hood.
Yeah.
And when I finished rapping that song, they gave me a standing ovation.
Wow, as they should.
Now, I came in second place in the rap because some girl was singing something or doing something. But that let me know right there that the way I spoke, people could listen.
Yes.
And people could hear what I was saying.
Yes.
And that launched the whole thing. And then I started going to schools and, a school called me from Norristown, PA.
Yes.
My first school.
Yes.
And they said, would you come out and talk to the kids? And I did my rap thing to them. And the newspaper just happened to come.
Okay.
And they put it in the newspaper.
Okay.
And it wound up getting on the AP wire and going national.
Wow.
And that opened the door for a whole lot more stuff. Then Johnson & Johnson got word.
Yes.
Because now I'm traveling around at night doing these shows.
Yes.
On the day I'm a chemist.
Yes.
So the local news got a hold of it. And they said, there's this guy, he's a scientist by day and he's a chemist. He's a scientist by day and he's a rapper at night.
Yes.
And so they said, we want to come into your job and we want to do a news story on you.
Okay.
And they came into Johnson & Johnson. Now, in order for any news company to come into a major corporation,
yes,
that goes all the way up to the top.
Absolutely, yes.
Because somebody has to approve it
yes.
to let them in for this purpose. And so everybody knows about it, man.
Yes.
And that went around the whole company.
Wow.
So then, when the news people came in, the people that was in my lab was, they were trying to get their little time on camera and all. And the news people said, look, even my boss was up in there.
Yeah.
And the news people was like, look, we need everybody out the room.
Yeah.
We just coming to do it for him.
Yes.
So they did this big news story. And then the CEO of Johnson & Johnson at that time.
Yes.
They said, the CEO, they want to have breakfast with you.
Okay.
And what I said, oh shit, we got it.
We got it now.
We got it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we met, and shared some things, and then I start moving on, and then I start getting all this traction.
Yes. And
then I knew the end was coming.
Okay.
Even though I had a great job.
Yes.
I was making the money.
Yes.
So I decided I was going to retire.
Okay.
That was part of my plan. I said, I'm gonna work 5 years to get vested, and then I'm gonna retire.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go start my own company.
Okay.
And my boss helped me start my first company.
Wow.
He helped me.
Wow.
Because you know why he helped me? Because they don't think that black people follow through.
Yes.
So they give you all the ideas, and he told me, we were sitting around, he said, you should incorporate. You should make this a real company. You should do a real go at it. And I said, okay. So I did it. And now I got this company, and it's getting traction.
Yes. Now
I have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to my father and mother, and I said, Mom, what you think? I'm getting ready to retire from this company and go on. My mom cried.
Wow.
She said, no, please, son. She said, the people will kill to have that job.
Yes.
And I said, I know. I said, but I got it.
Gotcha.
So I don't have to kill for it.
Yes.
I can leave this place.
Yes.
And then I talked to my dad, and my dad was like, look, he nailed it for me.
Yes.
He said, you achieved more than my wildest dreams for you.
Yes.
Said, anything you do, you're going to be successful at it.
Okay.
He said, so I can't advise you to this point. He said, this is your decision.
Yes.
And that was the first time my pop told me that he couldn't advise me.
Wow.
And I was like, dang. And then my mom hit me up. She said, well, just pray on it.
Yes.
She said, pray on it.
Yes.
And then, I prayed on it. And then in the middle of the night, it said, boom, you got to let this job go if you're going to spread your wings.
Gotcha. Now, let me stop you for a second. Let me stop you for a second.
Okay.
I've interviewed a lot of African-American entrepreneurs, a lot of African-Americans. And one of the things that I'm noticing throughout the thread of the conversation is that they all are faithful and they all are prayerful. How important was having faith, and how important was being prayerful in your whole learning process, your whole coming up process?
Well, growing up, we all came from the church. We went to church and as much as we could until we didn't have to go to church, and then we could play sports all day. Yeah. And then but we all from a young age it was instilled in us that you have to be driven by something and grounded by something.
Yes.
And religion was a good thing to do to ground us.
Okay.
And so I tell people, I don't go to church every Sunday.
Yes.
But I have more faith and more belief than anybody I know. My belief is solid.
Got you.
And my faith is untestable.
Got you.
So that's how I get through a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Faith ain't nothing but being able to see the unseen and know it's coming.
Yes.
And wait on it.
Yes.
And that's all it is.
Okay.
So in chemistry, you have to be able to visualize.
Yes.
And be able to see the unseen in your mind.
Yes.
And you can't see what a damn electron is. You can't see see all that stuff.
Yeah.
Them guys had a mind that was able to capture those visualizations.
Yes.
And then say this goes this way and that goes that way.
As they say in church, come on somebody. Come on somebody. Talk to me. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I break it down, but so that was it. I was able to and then what also nailed it for me, the second thing. I went down to Cancun on a vacation with my girlfriend.
Yes.
And we got on a party boat.
Yes.
And this party boat where you just drink and have fun. And I was 20-something, so I had plenty of money and I was ready to party.
Yes.
And so I got to talking with the captain of the boat, white guy.
Yes.
And so he, normally the captain walks up and down the ship and engage in conversation. So we start talking, and I asked, I said, what do you do? Mm-hmm. I said, what did you do before you did this?
Yes.
He said, he stopped his whole, he stayed with me for the rest of the trip.
Wow.
He said, I'm a pharmacist. I was like, really?
Wow.
I said, I'm a chemist. And so that nailed it.
Yes.
So he tells the story. He says, look, man, 12 years ago, I came down here on a party boat, me and my girlfriend.
Yes.
And I had a pharmacy in Maryland, and we came down and we had a vacation. I had such a good time.
Yes.
I told myself, this is how I want to live the rest of my life.
Yes.
He said, so when I went back home after the vacation, I sold my pharmacy and bought a boat and sailed it down here, and I've been down here ever since.
Wow.
Now let that sink in.
Yes.
And I said, damn. I said, white people just do what they want. They just change the narrative. Yo, man, they do what they want.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when I said, I'm going to do what I want.
Yes.
Chemistry,
Wow.
I'm not tied to that.
Yes.
I can do anything else.
Okay.
And so when I went back,
Yes.
I said, all right, I contemplated it, and I talked to a real top advisor of mine. His name is Dr. David Richardson.
Yes.
And Dr. David Richardson was he was the first black guy I ever met who had an MD.
Yes.
So he was a medical doctor and he had a PhD.
Wow.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, yeah.
This dude is so fun. And he was my homie.
Yeah.
You know, and so I made a lot of friends at Johnson & Johnson.
Yes.
So here's another thing for folks who are listening who are in corporate America today.
Yes.
The number one thing to navigate corporate America, if you want to excel, meet people in other divisions that are not your own.
Okay.
Everyone was intrigued. See, in a science company like Johnson & Johnson, the chemists are the gods,
Yes.
right? Nothing runs if the chemistry don't happen.
Yes.
If we don't create drugs and things,
Yes.
they don't have jobs.
Got you.
So they're all enamored on how do you do that? How do
Yes.
you? So I went over to the accounting department,
Okay.
met a guy over there, talked to him. He's a brother.
Yes.
So, man, what you do? Because we'd meet in the lunchroom.
Yes.
And what you do, man? He said, I'm managing a $100 million budget for the company. What? And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is back in the 80s, man.
Yes. Yes.
Oh shit. Damn, yeah. And so he got to know what I did.
Yes.
How about this boy wind up becoming my accountant? Right.
Wow.
So I worked the whole company, man.
Okay.
I went to the head of sales and marketing.
Yes.
A brother was running a division.
Yes.
And I was busted. He said, man, you everywhere. I said, listen, I'm soaking this thing up.
Yes.
And I went in his office and I asked him, I said, I need your help, man. I need you to lay me out a strategy or help me lay out a strategy to move my company
Yes.
through the marketplace.
Okay.
And he was like, well, I don't know if it'll work with rap music. I said, well, listen, I need the principles.
Yes.
And you can relate to that, Cat.
Absolutely.
I need the principles. I don't need you to give me the principles of how y'all doing this shit.
Yeah.
And he did. And he became my advisor.
Wow.
See, these are people. So don't waste that moment.
Yes.
When you're inside an organization,
Yes.
that's when you got access to everything.
Yes.
See, I could walk over to his office.
Yes.
That would have probably taken me 100 phone calls from an outside call.
Yes.
So I walked over there. I walked to the head of pharmacology.
Yes.
I walked to the head of biology. And I would sit there and bust it up with these people.
Yes.
And these people became my friends.
Wow. Okay.
So when I needed the knowledge, they would give it to me. There wasn't no cost, wasn't no charge.
Yeah. Networking. Yes.
And so that's how I worked it. I
Wow.
took advantage of the inner workings of Johnson & Johnson.
Yes.
And so when I was ready to make my move, it was seamless.
Gotcha.
It was a seamless transition. And when I did say, all right, here's my retirement letter,
Yes.
they gave me lunch and gave me the gold watch and all that.
Yeah,
It was beautiful, man. It was classy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my boss was disappointed because they tried to offer me more money, and they
Yes.
said, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I had learned from watching, what's the famous running back that left when he was at the top of his game?
Oh, Barry
Broke all the
Sanders.
records.
Yeah, Barry Sanders.
Before him, who was the guy that everybody was chasing? He's in all the movies. Older guy.
No.
He's one of the older running backs.
Oh, no, well, I was about to say O.J. Simpson, but he don't count. You're talking about
Before O.J. Simpson, it was the other guy.
Yeah, Jim Brown.
Yeah, Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Jim Brown was at the top, and he walked away.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I said the best time to leave is when you killing it.
Yes.
That's when you make your move.
Yes.
And most people leave when they get laid off.
Yeah, yeah.
They got to get let go and all. No,
Yeah.
I let myself go.
Yes.
See, I signed my own ticket.
Yes.
So I'm out of here.
Okay.
And my mother couldn't believe it. My mother cried.
Yes.
you leaving this job? I said, Mom, it's a job. It's a chapter. We're going to close that chapter. We're going to open another one up.
Yes.
And the other chapter's already open.
Wow.
Man, within 6 months of that, I negotiated a TV contract.
Wow. Wow.
My shit was on TV, man, in 6 months.
That's all right.
Shit, man,
that's all right.
Negotiated. And then at one point, I had 2 TV shows running at the same time. The Science Lab of Grand Hank and the Science of Philadelphia.
Wow.
And I was writing and producing and starring in both of them.
Wow.
Then got
That's
into
all right.
burn, man. I did this thing.
That's all right,
so,
man.
You know, you fast forward, you know, I was reaching millions of people, and we start touring.
Yes.
You know, we put together a big show, and we start taking it around the country, and then we got approached by the sponsors, and the sponsors were like, look, we want this.
Yeah, I want to go back to that. When you started touring around the country, you were paying out of pocket, or you had already identified sponsors at that time?
No. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. When you first start something, you are going to pay.
Yes.
You are going to pay. So the number one thing everybody, well, we all know 50s now, so you should know it by now.
Yeah.
If you want to start something, you're going to have to fund it.
Yes.
See, I'm not attached to money like a lot of people are.
Okay.
Money is just a tool.
Yes.
I get it. I use it.
Yes.
That's it. I don't try to hang on to it. I get it. I use it.
Yes.
I put it in things that appreciate.
Yes.
And that's it. And that's the simple life I got.
Got you.
So when I make money, I fund my own stuff. I started, you know, you had to pay to take all that equipment and pay to rent the place out and pay. I just paid. I didn't care. And then once you get exposure, the people see it, and then they say, hey, we want to bring you to our school.
Yes.
Now you're getting bread.
Yeah, now you're charging.
No.
Got you. Yep.
You're charging.
Yes, sir.
You start out paying. You got to create all the literature. You got to create all the pamphlets. You got to meet people, and you got to talk to people, and you got to get past their bullshit to get down to who's in charge and who can make deals happen.
Yes.
Because you'll get stuck in the bullshit by people who are pretending to be more than they actually are.
Yes.
See, now I deal with decision makers. If you can't make that decision, why are we sitting here negotiating?
Why are we talking? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You know, no disrespect, but you're not the decision maker.
Yes.
So if you're sitting in a room with the decision maker, fine.
Yes.
Or if you can bring me the decision maker, fine.
Yes.
But I'm not negotiating with you through them.
Yes.
No. Not how it's done. So you get to the people at the top. And once you get to the people at the top, they're easier. The deals get done a lot faster and a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah. So now, who was your first major sponsor?
Jesus Christ. Well, let's see. Damn, there are a few of them.
Okay.
So, all right. Let me take you where the biggest sponsors were.
Yeah.
So here's how this worked.
Yes.
I went to a science conference.
Yes.
And I was in, and I didn't feel like going.
Okay.
You know, it's too far away. I got to fly all this stuff out there.
Yes.
And something in the back of my mind said, if you don't feel like going, that means you need to go.
Okay.
So I bit the bullet and we shipped all this stuff to San Francisco.
Yes.
So we got there and they had this big room. Because I used to do these conferences and I said, the room ain't big enough. So they put me in a room to seat 100 people.
Yeah.
And everybody be out the door.
Yeah.
They'd be lined up out the door, man.
Yeah.
And I said, give me a big room. Stop playing with me. But you got to remember, these organizations are conservative.
Yes.
And they've never seen what you're presenting.
Gotcha.
So they want to go slow.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, let's ramp it up. You see it, let's do it.
Yes.
So I finally convinced them to give me a sizable room.
Yes.
And so I went out to San Francisco, flew it out. And me and my team went out there and we rocked it. So here's what happened from that one event.
Yes.
A guy from Shell Oil.
Okay.
Happened to walk by the room, and I had this whole room rocking.
Yes.
And I was by myself on stage, killing it.
Yes.
And he said, "Damn, this dude he rocked." So he walked by. He didn't say nothing. He kept going.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I had a booth in the exhibit area.
Yes.
So I knocked the show out. Then I'm back at my booth. And then another young sister came up. She had a booth. This was her first time doing it. I had been doing it for about 9 years.
Yes.
And this was her first time breaking into the market. And she said, look, do you know the guy from Shell? He's my friend and blah, blah, blah. I need to meet. Y'all need to meet. He need to see you.
Yes.
So when he comes to the exhibit, I'm gonna bring him over to your booth.
Okay.
So when she brought him over to the booth, I had all these people crowded around me and shit.
Yes.
I'm signing papers and all that, selling my product. So he was like, "No, are you the guy that was you did that workshop?"
Yes.
He was like, "Yeah." So he said, "Well, what you doing for dinner?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Well, man, I'm gonna take you out to dinner."
Okay.
I said, "Oh shit!"
All right.
So we go out to dinner. We go to this jazz spot and we busting it up.
Yes.
And he said, "Look, man, this is how relationships are cultivated."
Yes.
So we had a good time out talking. He said, "Man, I love what you do."
Okay.
And at the time, he was moving up in his career. So
okay.
if you catch people moving up, when they get to where they're going, they can make shit happen.
Absolutely.
So he was like, "I got to figure out. We're gonna figure out how to use you."
Okay.
He said, "Now I don't have a plan right now, but let me work on something."
Okay.
Right now, simultaneously, a delegation from South Africa was in the room.
Whoa.
So they approached me. They said, "Look, brother, we want to bring you to the motherland. Would you consider coming to the motherland?" I
Okay.
said, "Hell yeah!" And so it took me 2 years to negotiate that deal in South Africa.
Okay.
It took 2 years to get in position for Shell to become a major sponsor.
Yes.
And so what happened was the next year I was in another city and we run into each other again, and I'm
yes.
bigger. Each time they see me, I got more traction.
Yes.
And so he says, "Look, man," I ran into him. He said, "Look, man, I'm now the vice president of corporate giving."
Yes.
For the whole company. Oh shit, we hit the home run.
Yeah, yeah.
So he said, "I'm gonna put something together for you."
Yes.
So we sitting, and I'm just sitting there. He said, "I'm gonna get back to you."
Okay.
So here's how the Lord works. We
yes.
all talk about religion.
Yes.
So the guy calls me the next year. He says, "Look, I finally got it done."
Yes.
He said, we're going to bring all the oil and gas companies together.
Okay.
To see you.
Okay.
They flying in from all over just to see you do what you do.
Wow.
Okay. Now let that sink in. You got all the big energy companies. He
yes.
says, "So are you able to do this in June of 2014 or 15, something like that?"
Yes.
And at the same time, I had just signed a contract for a tour of South Africa.
Yes.
The South African contract came in first.
Yes.
They want me to go over there for a month.
Okay.
And tour 14 cities over there.
Yes.
That's how big the deal was.
Now when you're touring, they're wanting the Grand Hank experience with you talking to the kids and you doing your chemistry, your science stuff, right? Correct.
Okay. Correct.
Wow.
That's what they want. We bringing the show over there.
Got you. Yes.
And just like when people see, you think about Beyonce and them
yes.
on a road show.
Yes.
That's what we were doing over there.
Got you.
We would go from city to city. We'd drive all night, get to the next city. Man, that shit was beautiful.
Oh,
and that's what we did.
Yes, sir.
And we had every city we hit. It was just a fan rave. It was just like the stuff you see on TV.
Yes.
People running behind the cars. They had to get me to my to where we were going and get
yes.
us out of there. It was just a beautiful thing.
Wow.
And me and Wiz went over there. I took Wiz and my sister went over, and we were a 3-person team.
Yes.
And we just lit it up over there.
Wow.
And so when I signed that deal, the Shell deal came in.
Yes.
And I told the guy from Shell, I said, "Look, I'm not going to be able to do it."
Yes.
He's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, unfortunately, I just signed a contract."
Yes.
To, do something, and I won't be back in the country.
Yes. Until
after the date that you have booked.
Yes.
So he said, "Well, give me their number." He called the people in South Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
And whatever happened, and they called me back and they said, "Look, we're gonna let you do it for 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks, but we're gonna still hit all the cities, but we're gonna have to, because we need you back in the United States before this date, 2 days before this date."
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're gonna bring. You got to understand. You talking $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Now, let's fast forward to the event itself where they got all these companies.
Yes.
So this is the first time. Now, this is when you know you hit big time.
Yes.
The shell company said, look, what kind of, what's your rider?
Yes.
Like, what you want in your rider?
Yeah, what
I'm like, what the fuck's a rider?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what the hell's a rider?
Yeah, yeah.
And so he was like, well, a rider is, what do you want? What do you want? How do you want your stage to look?
Yeah, yeah.
And we had never dealt on that level with anybody.
Yes.
We more or less, we bring our own little ragtag system in and knock it out and leave. Any stage, we don't care. And they called me, they said, what size do you want the stage to be?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit, what size? I got to measure, tape out and shit. I'm like, oh, shit. Man. So, I talked to some people and they said the stage should be this big and this wide.
Yes.
And they said, what kind of speaker system you want?
Oh, wow.
We're setting a concert up for you. Yeah. What kind of lighting system? Well, how much light you want? What do you want? And we had never got to that point.
Yes.
And then they said, well, look, how many people traveling with you?
Okay.
How many rooms you need at the hotel?
Yes.
And these are things that we never dealt with.
Gotcha.
We've never, but it was like, how many cars you need? And you got to put all this in the budget, man.
Yeah.
I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
And so I had to talk to some people who didn't do what I did, but they were on that corporate level, so they knew how to do things, and they kind of walked me through it. Like, you got to charge them this much. You got to charge them that much.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to charge him.
Yeah.
And he was, and the guy said, whatever it is, we're gonna pay it. And I'm like, well, what? So I'm wrestling with that too.
Yeah.
And so we finally put a package together. Yeah. And they picked us up in a limousine, and that was the first time we ever got picked up in a limousine. They picked us up. You know how the girls had the signs at the airport with your name on it and shit?
Oh, yeah.
They had Grand Hank on there. Oh, shit. And then this is like big time, man.
Yeah.
And so we get to the hotel, and we got all these rooms and shit. All my crew, you got your own room now. I ain't no 3 or 4 sleeping in the room and shit.
Yeah.
And these was at like the best hotel.
Gotcha.
And so they said, well, look, we're gonna have a meet and greet. We want to meet you. Everybody want to shake hands and all that.
Yes.
So we did that. And then we went over for the sound check to make sure everything was what it was.
Yes.
Fast forward to the day of the event. So now we at this event. I go in the room. You got Exxon, you got BP,
yes.
You got Marathon,
yes.
You got Mobil,
yes.
You got Shell, you got all these companies there. And I'm like, it's game time.
Yes.
This is the Super Bowl for me.
Absolutely.
It's game time.
Yes.
So behind the stage, I'm going through my routine. I'm getting ready to rock.
Yes.
So the guy from Shell who set the whole thing up
yes.
brings another guy from the American Petroleum Institute in.
Yes.
And he introduces me to him. He said, this is the guy who's going to be cutting your check.
Okay.
So, okay, cool. He said, so the guy that was going to be cutting the check from the American Petroleum Institute. Now, remember, I don't know about all these oil and gas companies and shit.
Yeah.
So behind stage, they read my bio. I'm getting ready to hit the stage. So the guy says, I'm a little nervous, man. And I said, what you nervous about?
Okay.
He said, I don't think we got a room full of people, man. We got all these executives.
Yes.
Your boy been bragging about you.
Yes.
And I'm just not comfortable, man. I just don't think that, you're going to rock this shit.
Yes.
And I said, this guy don't even know me.
Yes.
He don't have no idea what we get ready to do.
Yes.
So he says, well, I'm going to tell you what. And this behind stage, this is real talk.
Yeah.
He said, if you rock this shit, you're going to be our guy.
Okay.
If you don't, we're just going to cut you a check and we're going to keep it moving.
Okay.
So, okay. Then you get out my way. Man, I went out that motherfucker. And they were supposed to be a half-hour show.
Yeah.
I wound up being on stage for 90 minutes because they wouldn't let me leave the stage.
Wow.
I want another one. Oh, this is dope, man. Damn, do one more. We had that place rocking.
Yes, sir.
And they said, look, after the show, he said, look, I want you to pack your bags.
Okay.
He said, I'm taking you on tour.
Okay.
I don't care what it costs. We're going to do a 3-city tour with you right off the bat.
Wow.
And this was for the American Petroleum Institute.
Yes.
That's when I start seeing the real money.
Yes.
Real money.
Yes.
And so the American Petroleum Institute, we negotiated contracts.
Yes.
And this now these contracts incorporate everything, so they pay for every little detail.
Yes.
Anything you can think of, they pay for it.
Got you.
Your money ain't no good from this point on. Your money ain't no good.
Wow.
You can't bring your wallet out.
Wow.
You can't. It's embarrassing.
Okay.
So they said, look, it started out as a 3-city tour.
Yes.
Then it went to 6 cities.
Yes.
Then it ended up at 14 cities.
Wow.
Under a contract.
Yes.
We fucking eat.
Wow.
And we doing what we do. This is what we created. This is what we doing.
Yes.
Now, at the same time, I got a contract from them.
Yes.
To do these tours.
Yes.
Then I get another contract from Shell Oil itself.
Yes.
They said, look, we want to take you on this road. We got these cities for you.
Wow.
So I'm under 2 contracts.
Wow.
Doing 2 separate tours. Now DuPont steps in.
Yes.
DuPont said, look, we got another tour for you.
What?
It was one time I was on 3 tours.
Wow.
With $3 billion companies at the same time.
Wow. That's all right, man. That's all right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yes. Time. Yes. Yes.
And so that's when we was on all. This is just right before the COVID. I mean, I was on all cylinders.
Okay.
And so, while I'm traveling, I said, we need to start preparing for when this is over with.
Yes.
See, I'm a long-term thinker.
Yes.
And I said, while we're getting the cash,
yes,
while we're getting the bread,
yes,
let's buy something big.
Awesome.
Let's buy something that when Grand Hank is gone,
yes,
and hopefully he's around for a long time,
yes,
we can continue the vision and the mission of being able to educate kids around science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
So I took some of that money I made,
yes,
and I bought a building.
Wow.
That's what I did.
That's
how we got to the Grand Hank step down.
Now where is the building?
Building is in Philadelphia.
Yes.
It's located in Germantown section of Philadelphia.
Yes.
It's located on 501 East Armstrong Street.
Yes.
So that's right in the heart of Germantown, right down the street from LaSalle University.
Okay. And
it's a city block long.
Wait. A city block long building, Grand Hank. That's all right.
It's a city block. And we're trying to get the final rendition done for it. I'm going to send it out and let everybody see what's coming.
Wow.
And so, we have invested in this.
Yes.
So all the money I make, I just put it in there.
Yes.
Let's just build something else. You go on tour, you get money, go buy some wood.
Yes.
Go buy some sheetrock. Go buy some electric. Go buy some plumbing. That's all I do. Because what else I'm going to do with the money?
Yeah.
Sit it somewhere and let it sit? No. Put the money in something. Now, I bought this building this is for y'all only, pit people only.
Yeah.
I bought the building for $150,000.
Yes.
The building appreciated to $1.5 million.
Whoa.
You got me?
I got you.
That's what we're talking about.
Got you.
So that's my pension right there.
Yeah. But
see, so
but
when I'm ready to do whatever.
Here's my question to you, Hank. How did you develop this vision, man? I mean, how did you see this coming, right? How did you see that coming?
I dream a lot.
Got you.
I dream. I'm always dreaming about stuff that I want.
Got you.
See, I don't compare myself to other people. It's what I want.
Okay.
And I see things, and the Lord will drop visions on me.
Yes.
He was the one that told me.
Yes.
He said, look, it's time to buy a building.
Okay.
Now, when I was on my tours, now mind you, the guy you're talking with right here
yes,
filled a stadium up with people.
Yes.
All by himself.
Yes.
And he's not a major rapper.
Yes.
How you do that?
Yeah.
No social media, nothing.
Yes.
We rented a stadium out because nobody saw the vision.
Got you.
See, and I just took some of that money that I got off tour and rented a venue.
Yes.
A stadium.
Yes.
And we filled that stadium up and didn't charge nobody anything.
Yes.
Because the Lord said, give it back.
And you just had kids from all over just coming.
I'll show you some pictures of it. It should be something on my website.
Yeah.
Go to grandhank.com, and there's a link on there. You'll see a stadium full of people.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
All rocking to the science of Grand Hank.
Awesome. A little kid from the projects with this multi-billion-dollar vision. That's all right, man.
Yeah.
That's all right.
And so, and now we're developing a product line. We had so much going on. The COVID, we just kind of pulled things back just to regroup because we didn't want nobody to get hurt and get sick or anything. So we just shut it down.
Wow.
And now we're ready to open it back up, and we're going to knock the roof off.
Wow.
We're going to finish him up, man.
Yes.
So, it's full circle.
Yes.
You got to give it back.
Yeah. Now let me ask this question.
You got to give it back.
So in all of your travel, are you promoting Pitt in terms of a school for chemistry or chemical engineering or science? Are you promoting Pitt? Has Pitt said to you?
You got to pay me for that.
Okay, got you.
They got to pay me for that.
Got you. Okay,
I
man.
paid them to get the knowledge. They got to pay for that. That's a sponsorship deal.
Got you. Okay.
They don't get no more free publicity, buddy.
Got you, man. Got you.
I do. It's in my bio, though.
Yeah.
When they read my bio, they do read I'm a Pitt grad.
Yes.
But that's a negotiation right there.
Got you. Man, because I remember the parties you used to throw. Who would have thunk that some 35 years later you are still rocking the crowd, but with a different purpose, man. God bless you, man. Thank you. Wow.
Yes, sir. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Is to be able to reach people where they are.
Yes.
And to break science down in a way that anybody can understand.
Yes.
See, it don't have to be that hard. And the professor told me that. He said, well, we teach science this way because we want to weed people out.
Yes.
And we only want the very, very top people. And I'm like, really?
Yes.
That's how y'all doing it?
Okay. Got you.
I'm going to create something that counters that. And that's what I did.
Got you. Now,
and to this day, even when I walk in rooms now, people have never seen a black scientist before.
Wow.
They've never shaken the hand of a black scientist. Man, we did a tour just before COVID.
Yes.
Of the state of Iowa. How about they called us? Said, come on here, Grand Hank.
Wow.
We did it. It was not one person who would not move.
Wow.
Now, Iowa is Republican, right?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me stop you for a second. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on.
All right?
Yeah. Everything's great, man. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot what that. So,
Yeah.
What happened? What were we talking about?
So you that they had never seen a black scientist before.
Right. Even to this day, people have never seen black scientists.
Yes.
They just think we exist in a mythological world.
Yes.
And it's great to be able to show now that a lot more black people are moving into sciences and moving into STEM-based careers.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing, and I could see the body of work that I've done that's paying off.
So you would say roughly that since you've been out here touring with the Grand Hank experience, right? You have maybe changed the trajectory of 10,000, 100,000 young folks to think about science.
Well,
now?
the last count we reached more than 10 million.
Whoa. So more than 10 million youth have been exposed to the world of science in the Grand Hank experience. That's all right, man.
Youth and adults.
Youth and adults. That's all right. 10 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
More than 10 million.
Wow.
Remember, we've been doing it for 32 years.
Yes.
It's a long time, man.
Yeah.
And the exposure is only going to get greater now that we're starting to apply the social media network aspect. Now you can reach people across the globe.
Yes.
And I just invested in this whole digital setup, and it's going to be unbelievable. in terms of doing like live streaming programming.
Yes.
And science over the networks and things of that nature. So that's my next logical step.
Well, now, question, would you ever think you would go back into a college lab to teach?
To teach?
Yeah, if someone to offer you?
It's funny you might ask. They asked me to teach. I taught as an honorary professor in South Africa at the University of Potchefstroom.
Yes.
And I taught their chemistry class.
Wow.
But the only way I would do it would be on a large scale.
Yes.
See, I have to reach, it had to be 10,000 kids in the class or 1,000 kids in the class.
Got you, okay.
And I would do it from a level that's never been done before.
Got you.
See, teaching 30 kids or 20 kids, I guess in college it's about 15 kids or something, you know. It's not the reach I want.
Okay.
I want to reach the masses.
Yes.
So you can create that herd effect.
Got you.
See, once you reach the masses, then it's like you get that snowball effect of where people say, "Oh, did you hear? Did you see?" And then everybody wants to look and find out what it was, what's causing it.
Yes. The major influencer that you are. Thank you. That's all right, man. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah, man.
So we got a lot of stuff on the horizon.
Yeah.
You know, I still have to write a book because that's a whole nother, and people are pressuring me to get it done.
Yeah.
And, you know, got a bunch of other stuff going on. But my main focus is getting the Grand Hank STEM Center online.
Okay.
And we're almost there. You know, we got to raise a little more capital.
Okay.
To finish the build out of it.
Yes.
But it's about 80% done already.
Now, how do people reach you in order to contribute to such good work that you're doing?
You can go, what we're setting up is we're setting a GoFundMe page up.
Yes.
It's not up yet.
Yes.
But if you want to contribute, you can go to grandhank.com.
Yes.
And there's a link on there and you can click that. Or you can directly contact me at grandhank@grandhank.com via email.
Yes.
Or you can call me, 267-249-5613.
Wow.
I still pick my phone up.
Yeah.
I still answer my phone.
Yeah, man, listen. What just came to my mind, seeing that you got such great vision, man, you know, every year, the city of Philadelphia, they do that Coming to America. They do a few.
Welcome America.
Yeah, man, I think you should be on the stage there, man. What you think?
Well, I'm ready. So we, you know, again, but see, you're trying to move minds.
Yes.
That's different than having people sing and dance.
Understood.
So those are different worlds.
Okay.
They can come together. Yeah. But it's going to take somebody to say, I want to see you on that stage.
Got you.
And then it'll happen.
Got you.
You know, because I can blow shit up from anywhere.
I know you can, man. I know. I've experienced that, brother. I've experienced that, man. Yeah. Come on.
And so, you know, that's the work ethic, though. So my thing is to push that. If you can dream it, it can be done.
Absolutely.
See, I don't accept. See, can't is a mindset.
Yes.
Can is a mindset.
Yes.
It just depends on which one you want to pick.
Absolutely.
And people will give you their advice.
Yes.
Even if you don't solicit it. They'll give it to you.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, you have to always be taking advice with a grain of salt.
Yes.
And you know, people mean well.
Yes.
But, you know, the ultimate decision is going to remain with you.
Absolutely.
And see, a lot of people are giving you advice based on something they think.
Yes.
They're not giving you advice based on what they've done.
Yes.
Now, I talk to people who have done it.
Yes.
See, you show me somebody who has done it. Don't tell me it can't be done.
Yes.
If I can find somebody who has done it, then I can talk to that person and learn how they did it and improve it.
Yes.
But don't tell me it can't be done.
Very true. Very true.
We live in a world where everything is possible.
Absolutely.
All the stuff we see around us came from somebody's mind.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Somebody that developed the communication that you and I are talking over now.
Absolutely, yes.
It wasn't no team that did that.
Yeah.
There was one person that said, this is how this can be done.
Yes.
And he got a team to execute it.
Yes.
But one person's thought did this.
Yes.
One person's thought said, look, we can go to the moon.
Yeah.
No use in keep looking at it. And then they put the team together to execute it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fly to touch that thing.
Yeah.
We can put somebody up there.
And then just past summer, just past year, we've had 3 billionaires, 3 entrepreneurs said we're going to do it.
You see?
Yep.
So don't limit yourself by listening to people who don't have the vision.
Yes.
And dream big no matter how old you are.
Yes.
If you got something that you want to do,
yes,
start to execute, because we on the the time clock, that sand in the hourglass is now running out for us.
Absolutely, yes.
We in the third quarter.
Yes,
See,
sir.
we don't get to live as long as some other people.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we knock stuff out now.
Yes.
54, 55, 56. That's it.
Yeah.
After this is 60, man.
Yeah.
Yo, the energy is leaving, man.
Yeah.
We can't do it.
Yeah,
you can't run like you used to run, Kev.
Who you telling?
So we got to knock shit out the park right now.
Absolutely.
Focus your energy right now.
Yes.
And knock out whatever you got. Because at some point, we got to enjoy the rest of this life that we got.
Yes.
It's not all about work.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now,
and that's what I'm working towards now.
Now, for the young folks who are living, for the young folks who are living, but for the folks who are listening, what advice would you want to give to them? And you've dropped a lot of jewels, but what advice specifically would you want to give to them now?
To sum it up.
Yes.
Your vision is your vision.
Yes.
The Lord is going to drop it on you.
Yes.
Just be on the lookout for it.
Got you.
It's in you.
Got you.
And so when you see it, when it unfolds itself in front of you,
yes,
you have to start the execution of it.
Got you.
Because dreaming is one thing.
Yes.
But once you see that vision and you can see it,
yes,
you can achieve it.
Time to execute. Yes.
There are going to be obstacles.
Yes.
Naysayers.
Yes.
All the usual stuff.
Yes.
But if you drive yourself, you can't nobody stop you.
Wow.
You have to be the engine. You got to be the fuel and the engine at the same time. You got to be able to fly it and build it.
Yes.
Don't let nobody tell you can't fly it and build it.
Yes.
No, they can't fly it and build it. You can, because you're talking to a guy that flew it and built it at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The big money is not coming.
Yes.
And here's the final piece.
Yes.
Everybody listen. Success, right?
Yes.
This is how you get to it.
Yes.
The reward of success lags behind the effort.
Yes.
That's it. That's my life statement.
Yes.
The reward of success in anything lags behind the effort that you put in.
Yes.
You can't get it up front.
Yes.
That's why we got all these young kids out here shooting and killing each other, because they want the reward up front.
Yes.
You can't get that reward up front.
Yes.
The reward is lagging behind the effort.
I love it, man.
That's it.
Put in the time. When I called you to ask you to be on the podcast, I didn't know you were going to bless us with so many jewels. I just thought we were going to chop it up about the party. I didn't even notice about you, but thank you for sharing, man. Wow, I thought we were going to talk about
party. It was one aspect, Kev.
Yeah, I know, man. But that's what I remember.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted you to remember, and we deserved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We deserved to have the walls of the union sweat.
Oh, man.
We throwing out those tokens and we didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
we were enjoying ourselves.
Absolutely.
So that was a great time, and we maximized it.
Yes.
And I tell people, I've had a lot of fun.
Yes.
I've never had as much fun as I had at Pitt.
Got you.
Never. It has never been that consecutive amount of fun. I've never had it.
Because I remember folks would start talking on a Monday and preparing on Monday for a Friday or Saturday party that Grand Hank was throwing. So it was like, weekend, that's all we was talking about. What you wearing?
Big disappoint. And we didn't disappoint.
No, you never did.
And that was the thing. We didn't disappoint.
Yes.
So when you came to that party,
yes,
you left with your party on and you left sweating. There wasn't no fighting and none of that crazy
none
stuff.
of that.
When you left there,
yes,
you was on a high note, man.
Absolutely.
You was like, man, all right, let's hit the lobby or let's hit originals or let's. That's how we did it.
Yes, sir.
And we were all in one ecosystem, man.
Yes.
All the fraternities, sororities,
yes,
all the people that were there, football players, basketball, baseball,
yes.
you know, we were all one community.
Yes.
We didn't know that school was all white. At least I didn't. Man.
Listen, I didn't know that either. Yeah.
The only time I knew was when I went to that chemistry building.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know, hey, what's up, man? I seen all my people on the yard.
Yeah, because you know I've done the podcast so far with a lot of former Pitt players, Pitt people,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to them, did you ever think that you would have enjoyed a education at a historical black college? They said, well, we thought we were at one. We were at Pitt.
That's right, man. I didn't look, man.
Yeah.
All I do was seeing my homies, seeing y'all, seeing everybody, man.
Absolutely.
You know, we had a good time, and everybody got along, and we just had a great time.
Yes.
You know, I got a video, man. I'm gonna put out one of these days.
Okay.
You remember Bigfoot?
Oh yeah.
Tony Woods.
Oh yeah.
I got a video of Tony Woods and Daryl Woods.
Yes.
And my boy Tyraine, they was all down my house, man.
Yeah.
And we was just carrying on, man. I was cutting on the turntables and all that. Reggie was down there rapping and man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And
man.
so you know, we just had a vintage time up there, man. I will never forget those moments. I mean, it's 30-something years later, and we can still remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I am so proud of you, and I'm so it's my pleasure to call you my friend. Oh my God, thank you, man.
Yes, sir, and the same here, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Always look at you as a friend, man. That's how it is.
Thank you, Grand Hank. Listen, I want to, before I end this podcast, man, I want to give you this platform one more time, just to go ahead and drop some jewels on us, man. Talk to us. Anything you want to say?
Well, you know, we're in tough times right now.
Yes.
Because, again, the reward has to follow the effort.
Yes.
So you have to teach your children that they have all the advantages because we paved the way to give them to them.
Yes.
And, again, when I go back to why my daughter's going to Pitt, I told her, the path has already been paved.
Yes.
All you got to do is step in it. Look, you came home when you were born.
Mm-hmm.
You came home in a Mercedes-Benz.
Wow.
Now let that sink in.
Yeah.
I came home on the bus. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You came home. All you know is living good.
Yes.
So why you want to make your life hard?
Yes.
Keep living good. You deserve it.
Yes.
Be a good person. And I told her, you got to help other people.
Absolutely.
You can't just make all this and have all this and not help other people.
Yes.
So if we all help each other in any way we can, then we all move up together.
Absolutely.
This ain't just Grand Hank STEM Center. This is all of ours. If you know me, then you know how we help people.
Yes.
And now it's my turn. So if you can help, hey, we could use your help in helping to get this done.
And we want to do that. So one more time, tell everybody how they can reach out to you.
Grand Hank at grandhank.com.
Yes.
I'm sorry, grandhank at grandhank.com is the email.
Yes.
The website is grandhank.com.
Yes.
So it's called Grand Hank. On social media, it's all at Grand Hank.
Got you.
If you want to call me, it's 267-249-5613. Would love to hear from old friends, family, workers, whoever.
Yes.
You know, I still answer my phone.
Absolutely. And now, before when we go to drop this episode, right, I'm going to need you to include all that information on your bio as well as your headshot. You can do that for me, right?
Yeah, I already got it. I'll shoot it over to you. Shoot me your email.
Okay.
And I'll send it to you.
Okay, that'd be cool, man. Grand Hank, this has been all right, man.
Let me know when you're going to put it out so I could be on notice we can blow it up.
When we drop it, we're going to blow it up, man, because we want to get all the support, man. We want to get all the support because we want to help be a part of your vision, man. Thank you.
That's it. We're building something that's bigger than us.
Absolutely. Yes.
It just got my name on it. That's all. But every stadium around the country got somebody's name on it.
True that.
Let's put our name on our building.
Absolutely. Yes. Brother Hank, this has been real, man. Thank you.
Okay, Kev.
All right, brother.
You take care, and thank you for the opportunity, man.
Hey, listen, there are going to be many more opportunities, but I'm glad to get us started on this one.
Okay, brother. And this good work you're doing as well, man, and I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
As they say, to God be the glory. We'll talk in a minute, brother.
Bye-bye now.
Right, peace now.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.